Have you ever wondered whether to step back from a relationship? The other day I sat down with a friend of mine and we had a discussion whether to step back or step out from a relationship. Initially there was a lot of love and passion in the relationship, but once the honeymoon phase cooled off a little bit, it became clear that there were some challenging issues that my friend was facing. A couple of things stood out though. My friend found herself guessing if the effort she put into the relationship were reciprocated. 2, she wondered if her partner's style of communication was compatible with hers. And 3, she had concerns that their family situation was not aligned. So if you find yourself in a similar spot and you're ruminating about things that subconsciously bother you or even worse, hurt you, stop. Watch this video, take some inventory, and let's get to the bottom of this. So let's discuss 3 things not to do when you're dating, and let's determine whether to stay or go. Number 1, effort. I think in the beginning of a relationship, things first of all should flow pretty effortlessly, right? And a lot of people refer to this as the honeymoon period of time. But then there comes a time when things, the passion, the emotions cool off a little bit and you're asking yourself, is everything still in good order? Or do the first cracks start to show? And what I mean by that is my friend caught herself making excuses for her partner's unacceptable or bad behaviors and then saying, but oh yes, he has a PTSD or he has a certain challenge that he's dealing with, and that's why we're having this situation. In my opinion, if you set an appointment with somebody to, let's say, link up at 3 p.m., you're supposed to meet at 3 p.m. And you're not supposed to meet at 3:30, 4, or maybe 11 o'clock at night, right? So if you do have like a clear commitment to something, and in my opinion, incorrect or bad behavior happens over and over again, ask yourself the question, am I treating other people like that? And if not, do I want to be treated like that? If you don't want to be treated like that, then your answer should be clear, right? Remove yourself. I mean, to me, especially in the beginning of a relationship, it's so clear that there's no reason for you to be responsible for fixing your partner's issues. I don't think it should be your job. In recent history, I had the opportunity to date a person who the first few dates were absolutely wonderful, but then the cracks started to show. I saw her treat a server in a restaurant with a standard that's not acceptable to myself. I would never treat service personnel bad or poorly just because they made a mistake, right? And then I also saw this person that I was dating wield some anger toward a friend in a matter that I found very disrespectful. And I was asking myself the question, if that sword is wielded against me, would I be happy to be on the receiving end of the stick? And to me, the answer was no. After spending some time with her, it started showing this type of behavior could be wielded against me. And there was no way I was ever going to make excuses for that, right? Like if you're out and about with somebody and your friend folds a server and that's not aligned with how you treat people, like you don't want to go out and make excuses for that. So take that as a clear indication of what you don't want in your life, no matter if the other aspects of the partner or the person you're dating are attractive to you. Number 2, let's look at the efforts then that sometimes we put into relationships in hopes that they are reciprocated. I think so many times in the beginning of a relationship, we are all enthusiastic about our partner, right? We love to text, we love to hear back, we love to maybe buy our partner or date a dinner or do things for them. And at the same time, we hope we do this in order to maybe get some love or some affection reciprocated. And I think this is a very telling time of a relationship. If you end up expanding energy, and I believe all of us only have so much energy left in us, right? And we as human beings, we feed off energy, right? Like you're driving in traffic, somebody leans on the horn and is, flipping you off. Immediately your energy changes and you're probably not enjoying the drive as much anymore as when you started out. So like then being in tune with that energy, right? Let's say you text your date and there's nothing back, or you call your date, you leave a voicemail and there's nothing back for hours, especially when you've made arrangements to possibly connect at a certain time and do something that day, and this happens multiple times, I think it's indicative for you putting too much effort in, right? Because there should be some sort of reciprocation. I also think that falls into the concept of mental alignment, right? If you treat a person, and I'm not saying like be instantly on your phone or be available 24/7, but what I am saying is, if you made an agreement to connect throughout the day somehow, and you're blatantly ignored, that is a sign for your efforts not being reciprocated. So if you find yourself over and over again in different scenarios giving more and putting more effort in than you're getting back, I would say stop and reassess if that's working out good for you. If you're feeling, or your gut tells you, this doesn't feel right, I'm not feeling good about that, it is a clear sign for you to stop and reassess. Number 3, let's look at the style of communication in the framework of what not to do when you're communicating. I think sometimes this book, The 5 Love Languages, is a great book for developing an awareness what is important to you as a person. It's almost akin to having a value system, right? Like what you value as a person. I think the 5 love languages are physical touch, are words of affirmation, gift giving, acts of service. But all I'm saying is like being mindful of what's important to you as a communicator is hypercritical for your wellness in a relationship. If you in general like positive affirmative communication where you want your partner to lift you up most of the time, I mean, let's be honest, right? We all make mistakes, we all have our shortcomings, and I think constructive feedback is something that has a place in a relationship. But sarcasm and a partner who's maybe tearing you down or putting you into a doghouse is definitely not what you want to surround yourself with, right? Because that long term leads to hurt, dissatisfaction, and build up anger toward your significant other. So when you're dating, then becoming aware of your communication style and what you need, and looking at how your partner communicates is key. I really believe taking people at face value is so important. When somebody tells you, you know what, I am not that into you, and they say that in one so many words or show that to you by one so many actions, not showing up for you when you had an appointment, not reciprocating the love and the attention that you put out there, not respecting the efforts that you put into it, I think that is an indicator that your communication style is not aligned. I think alignment in your communication style is just so important because you want to feel well and you want the vibe to be right. So make sure that if you're dating somebody, that there is alignment in your thoughts, there's alignment in your actions, there's alignment in your communication style, and there's alignment in your family situation, right? Like, it's not a good situation if your partner has kids, you have no kids, you want kids, your partner doesn't want kids anymore. Like, this is a situation that you can't easily solve. So having then some awareness around these issues is so important in order to feel well in a relationship. There's one more thing I'd like to say. Stop projecting your hopes of a future relationship onto your date. Sometimes early on in the process, when the emotions run high, we are picturing this ideal life of this person that we can build a life with, that we can go through the ups and downs of life, that we can perhaps build a business with, build a family with, or whatever that may be for you, right? And so we're borrowing from the future, and we are forcing this ideal of what we think our future is onto the present. I would say stop doing that, right? Learn a mindfulness practice and learn how to stay in the moment. When you're with your date, just listen to what he or she has to say. Just tune in, just be present and read the room, right? Don't read your wants, wishes, needs, or goals that you have for what you want out of that relationship, but learn to read the room. Like, learn to read what is being said to you and take that at face value. Because if you don't, I think you're setting yourself up for failure. So let's summarize real quick, right? Stop making excuses for unacceptable or bad behavior. 1. Number 2, stop hoping that your partner will reciprocate your behavior. If that doesn't come flowy and naturally and it's not there, stop hoping that one day they may reciprocate. And number 3, develop an awareness for your communication style and what your needs are. And if there is no match, stop chasing the relationship. I think there's so much more to it, but I think these are 3 points that may help you put some framework into your dating life if you find yourself in a situation where you have this gut feeling that something is not 100% right and some cracks have maybe manifested themselves. I'd be really curious to hear what are some of the speed bumps that you guys are running into or some of the roadblocks. Drop them in the comments below. And if you haven't already done so, do me a favor, drop a quick like and subscribe to my channel. This will help me continue the conversation with you. I would really appreciate it. And again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace.